There is a tree that contains more vitamin A than carrots, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, more potassium than bananas, more protein than eggs, more vitamin C than oranges, all 9 essential amino acids, all in a single leaf. This tree grows in the worst soil on earth, soil too poor for any vegetable, soil too dry for any fruit, soil that farmers abandon because nothing will survive. This tree survives. It survives drought that kills everything else, 10 years without significant rainfall, still growing, still producing, still feeding families when every other food source has failed. It produces leaves that can be harvested every single week, pods that taste like asparagus, seeds that purify contaminated water, roots that can be eaten like horseradish. Every part of this tree is food. Every part is medicine. Every part is survival. This tree is not rare. It grows in tropical and subtropical regions across the planet. It grows so easily that scientists call it a weed. It spreads so readily that farmers cannot stop it once it starts. And yet, most Americans have never heard of it. It is not in grocery stores. It is not in seed catalogs. It is not taught in nutrition courses or promoted by agricultural extension services. A tree that outperforms every vegetable in your garden. Hidden from the richest country on earth. This is not an accident. Today we are opening the file on the most nutritious plant ever tested by science. The tree that could end malnutrition. The vegetable that survives apocalypse. And the industries that have spent decades making sure you never plant one. If this matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. The file is open. In 1997, a research team from Johns Hopkins University made a discovery that should have transformed global nutrition. Dr. Jed Fahey, a nutritional biochemist, was analyzing plants from around the world, searching for compounds that could prevent disease. He had tested thousands of species. Most contained nothing remarkable. Then he tested leaves from a tree that grew wild in the hills of northern India. The laboratory results made no sense. He ran them again and again. He brought in colleagues to verify his methodology. He sent samples to independent laboratories. The results held. This tree contained concentrations of nutrients that exceeded any plant in the scientific database, not by small margins, by multiples. Vitamin A, 10 times higher than carrots. Calcium, 17 times higher than milk. Iron, 25 times higher than spinach. Potassium, 15 times higher than bananas. Protein, 9 times higher than yogurt. Vitamin C, 7 times higher than oranges. Dr. Fahey had studied plants his entire career. He had never seen anything like this. But what happened next was even more remarkable. He discovered that this tree had been feeding humans for over 5,000 years. It was mentioned in ancient Sanskrit texts. It was used in traditional medicine across 3 continents. It had sustained populations through famines that killed millions. The most nutritious plant on Earth was not a new discovery. It was ancient knowledge that modern science had ignored. Dr. Fahey published his findings in peer-reviewed journals. He presented at conferences. He contacted agricultural development organizations working on global hunger. The response was silence. No major nutrition program adopted the tree. No agricultural extension service promoted it. No government agency recommended planting it. 25 years later, 690 million people remain chronically undernourished. Many of them live in regions where this tree could grow in their backyard, and most Americans still cannot name it. The tree is called Moringa. Moringa oleifera, the drumstick tree, the horseradish tree, the ben oil tree. Different names in different languages, but always the same extraordinary plant. It originated in the foothills of the Himalayas, in the region where India meets Nepal. Archaeological evidence suggests cultivation began at least 5,000 years ago, possibly longer. The ancient Indians called it shagru, meaning arrow, for its long, slender seed pods. They documented its properties with precision that rivals modern analysis. In Ayurvedic medicine, Moringa was used to treat over 300 conditions: inflammation, infection, digestive disorders, skin diseases, respiratory problems, joint pain. The ancient texts described a tree that could cure almost anything. Modern science has largely validated these claims. Moringa leaves contain compounds called isothiocyanates that reduce inflammation at the cellular level. Clinical trials have demonstrated measurable reduction in inflammatory markers. The leaves contain quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that protects cells from oxidative damage. Studies have linked quercetin consumption to reduced risk of chronic diseases. The leaves contain chlorogenic acid, the same compound that makes coffee protective against diabetes. Moringa leaves contain more chlorogenic acid than coffee beans. The seeds contain a protein that binds to bacteria and particles suspended in water, causing them to clump together and sink. This protein can purify contaminated water without chemicals or equipment. Researchers have documented that moringa seed powder removes 90 to 99% of bacteria from dirty water. In regions without access to water treatment, this is the difference between life and death. The ancient Indians did not have laboratories. They did not understand biochemistry. But they observed effects and recorded them accurately over thousands of years. Modern science did not discover moringa's benefits. It confirmed what traditional medicine already knew. The tree spread from India along ancient trade routes. By 2000 BCE, it had reached Egypt. The Egyptians pressed oil from moringa seeds and used it for cooking, for cosmetics, for preserving mummies. Vessels of moringa oil have been found in tombs dating to the pharaohs. By 1000 BCE, it had reached East Africa. African communities adopted it as a food source and medicine. Different cultures gave it different names but recognized the same value. By 500 CE, it had spread across Southeast Asia. Thai, Filipino, and Indonesian cuisines incorporated moringa leaves and pods as staple vegetables. The Romans encountered moringa through their trade with Egypt and India. Pliny the Elder mentioned it in his Natural History, written in 77 CE by the time European colonizers arrived in tropical regions. Moringa was already established across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. Indigenous populations were using it for food and medicine, just as their ancestors had for millennia. The colonizers ignored it. They wanted cash crops, sugar, coffee, rubber, cotton, crops they could sell on global markets. Crops that generated profit. Moringa generated no profit. It grew too easily. It spread too readily. Anyone could plant it. Anyone could harvest it. There was nothing to sell. The colonial agricultural systems that shaped tropical farming had no place for a tree that made farmers self-sufficient. This pattern continued after independence. International development agencies promoted green revolution crops, high-yield varieties of rice and wheat that required purchased seeds, purchased fertilizer, purchased pesticides, crops that integrated farmers into global commodity markets. Moringa did not fit this model. It required no purchased inputs. It provided complete nutrition without external markets. It made farmers independent of the agricultural supply chain. From the perspective of organizations promoting commercial agriculture, moringa was not a solution. It was an obstacle, and so it was ignored. While development agencies spent billions promoting crops that required billions more in ongoing inputs, moringa continued growing wild in the places they were trying to develop. Families who could not afford the improved seeds and fertilizers quietly harvested moringa leaves from trees growing in their yards. The tree did not need promotion. It promoted itself. Every seed that fell grew into a new tree. Every new tree fed another family. But without institutional support, moringa remained a subsistence crop, something poor people ate because they could not afford better. Not a solution to global hunger, a symptom of poverty. This perception was carefully cultivated. The nutrition science is unambiguous. The USDA National Nutrient Database confirms the extraordinary profile of moringa leaves. The numbers have been verified by laboratories around the world. 100 grams of moringa leaves contains 9.4 grams of protein, including all 9 essential amino acids. 434 milligrams of calcium, more than 3 glasses of milk. 28 milligrams of iron, more than a pound of beef. 738 micrograms of vitamin A, exceeding the daily recommended intake. 164 milligrams of vitamin C, nearly triple the daily requirement. And significant amounts of B vitamins, magnesium, potassium, zinc, and phosphorus. No other vegetable comes close. Spinach, celebrated as a superfood, contains less than 1/3 the nutrients of moringa leaf for leaf. Kale, the darling of health food marketing, contains less than half. Moringa is not slightly better than other vegetables. It is dramatically, measurably, scientifically better, and it grows in conditions where other vegetables cannot survive. The drought tolerance of moringa defies explanation. Most vegetables require consistent moisture. A week without water stresses them. 2 weeks kills them. The vegetable garden is one of the most water-intensive forms of agriculture. Moringa evolved in regions where rainfall is seasonal and unreliable. It develops survival mechanisms that allow it to endure extreme drought and recover completely when rain returns. The tree drops its leaves during extended dry periods, reducing water loss. The trunk stores water like a succulent. The roots penetrate deep into soil to access moisture far below the surface. Researchers have documented moringa trees surviving 10 consecutive years of drought in sub-Saharan Africa. Not dormant, producing yielding leaves and pods that fed families when every other food source had failed. During the Ethiopian famine of 1983-1985, which killed over 1 million people, communities with moringa trees experienced significantly lower mortality. The trees continued producing when crops failed and livestock died. This was not reported. The international response focused on emergency food aid, not on the trees that had provided food without aid. After the famine, development agencies did not promote moringa planting. They promoted commercial agriculture. They promoted crops that would require ongoing international support. The tree that had saved lives was not mentioned in the recovery plans. The pattern repeats across every drought and every famine. Moringa survives, moringa produces, moringa feeds people. And then the crisis passes, and moringa is forgotten again. The industries that control global nutrition have no interest in a tree that cannot be sold. The global dietary supplement industry generates $150 billion per year. It sells pills and powders that provide isolated nutrients in concentrated doses. Moringa threatens this model. Why buy vitamin A supplements when moringa leaves contain more vitamin A than any pill? Why buy calcium tablets when moringa provides more absorbable calcium than dairy? Why buy protein powder when moringa offers complete protein from a leaf? A tree in your backyard replaces a medicine cabinet full of supplements. The supplement industry has a term for this. They call moringa a disruption risk, a product that could make their products unnecessary. Their response has been strategic silence. Major supplement companies do not sell moringa products despite their obvious market potential. They do not advertise moringa's benefits. They do not fund research on moringa nutrition. They sell isolated vitamins manufactured in factories. They do not sell leaves that grow on trees. The agricultural industry tells the same story. Seed companies generate billions selling proprietary varieties. Fertilizer companies generate billions selling synthetic nutrients. Pesticide companies generate billions selling crop protection. Moringa requires no purchased seeds. It grows from cuttings or from seeds collected free from existing trees. Moringa requires no fertilizer. It fixes nitrogen from the air and mines minerals from deep soil. It actually improves soil fertility rather than depleting it. Moringa requires no pesticides. Few insects attack it. Diseases rarely affect it. The tree protects itself. A farmer who grows moringa stops buying inputs. From the industry perspective, that farmer has been lost. The response has been the same strategic silence. Agricultural extension services do not promote moringa. Farming publications do not feature it. The industry that shapes what farmers grow has no interest in a crop that eliminates their customers. You can grow moringa in most of the southern United States. The tree is hardy to USDA Zone 9 and above. This includes Florida, southern Texas, southern Arizona, southern California, and Hawaii. It survives brief freezes, but dies back if temperatures stay below 25 degrees Fahrenheit for extended periods. In colder climates, moringa can be grown as an annual or in containers brought indoors for winter. The tree grows so fast that even one summer season produces abundant harvests. Moringa is the fastest growing tree ever documented. In optimal conditions, it can grow over 15 feet in a single year. Even in marginal conditions, it adds several feet of height annually. This growth rate means rapid production. A tree planted from seed can be harvested within 60 days. From that point, leaves can be harvested weekly throughout the growing season. Planting is simple. Seeds germinate readily without special treatment. Plant them 1 inch deep in any soil that drains well. Water until established. After that, water only during extended drought. Cuttings root even more reliably. A branch cut from an existing tree and stuck in the ground will grow roots within weeks. The tree tolerates poor soil that would kill vegetables. Sandy soil, rocky soil, soil with almost no organic matter. If anything will grow, moringa will grow. It tolerates heat that wilts other plants. Full tropical sun does not stress it. Temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit do not slow production. The only things moringa does not tolerate are cold and waterlogged soil. If your winters stay above freezing and your soil drains, moringa will thrive. Harvesting is equally simple. Pick individual leaves or cut entire branches. The tree responds to harvesting by producing more growth. Regular harvesting actually increases total production. Leaves can be eaten fresh in salads, cooked like spinach, or dried and powdered for storage. Dried moringa leaf powder retains its nutritional content for months. Young seed pods, called drumsticks, are harvested before they become woody. They taste like asparagus and are used in curries and soups throughout Asia and Africa. Mature seeds can be pressed for oil or used to purify water. The oil, called ben oil, was prized in ancient Egypt and remains valuable today. Even the roots are edible. They taste like horseradish and contain the same pungent compounds. A single tree provides vegetables, protein, oil, water, purification, and medicine. A single tree replaces an entire garden. There are people working to change moringa's status. Organizations like Trees for the Future have planted millions of moringa trees across Africa. Church World Service has promoted moringa in hunger relief programs. Educational Concerns for Hunger organization has distributed moringa seeds to developing communities worldwide. These efforts operate on shoestring budgets. They receive a fraction of the funding given to conventional agricultural development. They work against the institutional momentum of systems that ignore moringa, but they work. Communities that adopt moringa show measurable improvements in child nutrition. Studies have documented increased growth rates, reduced anemia, and better overall health outcomes in children who consume moringa regularly. Mothers who eat moringa produce more breast milk with higher nutritional content. Their babies grow faster and get sick less often. Families who grow moringa spend less money on food and medicine. The savings allow investment in education, housing, and business development. The evidence is overwhelming. The benefits are documented. The tree is available to anyone willing to plant it. And still, the institutions that control global nutrition do not promote it, because there is no money in a tree that grows for free. The oldest moringa trees in India are over 100 years old. They have survived droughts, floods, political upheavals, and a century of agricultural change. They continue producing leaves and pods, just as they did when the British still ruled. Families have gathered beneath these trees for generations. Great-grandparents who planted them never met the great-grandchildren who harvest them. This is the time horizon that industrial agriculture cannot comprehend. Supplement companies think in quarterly sales. Seed companies think in annual purchases. The entire structure of modern nutrition is built on repeat transactions. Moringa offers something different. Plant once, harvest forever. Feed your family for generations from a single tree. This is why it remains hidden, not because it doesn't work, because it works too well. Because a tree that provides complete nutrition for 100 years cannot be sold again next season. Because a plant that grows in any soil eliminates the need for fertilizer. Because a food that protects itself eliminates the need for pesticides. The most nutritious plant on Earth is hidden, because its success would be the failure of industries worth hundreds of billions of dollars. The hiding ends when enough people plant it. One tree in your backyard, one tree shared with your neighbor. One tree whose seeds spread to other yards and other neighborhoods. The supplement industry cannot stop seeds from germinating. The agricultural establishment cannot prevent cuttings from rooting. The institutional silence cannot survive the simple act of planting. Dr. Fahey at Johns Hopkins continues his research. He has spent 25 years documenting what moringa can do. He has published paper after paper proving its extraordinary value. He has also planted moringa trees at his home in Maryland. He eats the leaves himself. He shares seeds with anyone who asks. This is how hidden plants become common. One scientist, one gardener, one tree at a time. The tree that survived 5,000 years of human history. The plant that outperforms every vegetable. The food that grows in drought and poor soil and neglect. It is waiting for you to plant it. Better than all vegetables. Survives 10 years of drought, still produces. The only thing hidden is your knowledge that it exists. That ends today. If this video helped you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every share exposes what they hid. The next video opens soon.